Hi and welcome to Ida Books. I'm Ida and these are my books. Today I will be doing part 2 of my summer wrap-up and I will be telling you about all the audiobooks that I have listened to this summer. There's quite a few of them, so let's just jump into it. If you missed the first part of this wrap-up, you can check out the link in the description down below. First book I finished this summer was Eve of a Man by Tom and Giovanna Fletcher. I have it up there on my favorite shelf because it was a 5 out of 5 stars. So this is a science fiction about a world where girls stopped being born. So all the new children were boys, and then after about 50 years, the first girl in 50 years is born, and she's treated basically like royalty. She's being really sheltered and everything to make sure that she survives so she can reproduce. And it's about her and this guy who becomes friends with her, and they figure that maybe she's not in the best position at the moment because the people keeping her safe might not be the nicest. 5 out of 5 stars for that one. I loved it so much. I really wish for the next books in the series to come out like right now, and I'm very excited to continue the series. Next book I finished was The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This book is a retelling of the Odyssey or the Iliad. I think it's the Iliad. About Achilles and his friend in this story, boyfriend Patroclus, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I was very confused for a while about where the story was going because it's written from Patroclus' perspective, and if you know the original story, you know what happens. If you know what happens, then I was very, very interested to see how they would do that. And I did enjoy the overall story. I enjoyed the relationship and everything, but I had some issues with the narrator. If I remember correctly, the narrator read Achilles really weirdly, and so he did not sound like a 16-year-old boy. And also, I always had Brad Pitt envisioned in my head from the movie. From Troy. So yeah, I did enjoy it. I think the ending was a bit weird, but I did enjoy it overall. The next book I listened to was Circle of Shadows by Evelyn Skye, and I do not remember this book. So this book is about some kids with magic of some kind, and they are... I'm just checking the Goodreads description now because I really don't remember this book. So about 2 teenagers, and they are like magic warriors, and as they get close to graduation, they have this assignment to check out an area, and when they do, they find out that some bad stuff is going on, but no one believes them, and they have to try and stop this bad stuff from happening before it's too late. I give it 3 stars. It is obviously extremely forgettable. It did not stand out to me in any way, and I was very confused like throughout the entire ending what was going on. It was just weird. So I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Next I listened to The Crown's Game and The Crown's Fate, also by Evelyn Skye. I also gave these 2 3 stars. These books were compared to The Night Circus when I picked them up. They are about these 2 teenagers who both have magic, and only one of them can become the royal magician, and so they have to compete against each other to so only one of them can survive, and it was fine, it was enjoyable. It's not the best thing I've ever read. Next book I listened to was Rook by Sharon Cameron, and this book is set in a world like a futuristic. They are obviously set after our time, but it's like sort of a dystopian, like steampunky feel to the world. About this girl who dresses up as a man to save criminals and help people who have gotten into a bad situation. And it was good. I don't remember very much about it, but it was good. I enjoyed it. I give it 4 stars. Next I listened to Völvans and Ondskans tecken by Saga Borg. They are like historic fantasy taking place like way back in Sweden history, and it's about a young girl who is basically kidnapped in a raid and taken to this other village and forced to marry the head of this village. And it's good, like the premise is good. It's just such focus on girl hate, and yeah, it was not well executed. She calls another woman old because she's 25. She's like, your time is almost over, and I was like, she's barely an adult. It was weird. And yeah, it's like a 9-book series. I've had the first 2 at home for a while, and I finally picked up the audiobooks, and oh, it was not good. I gave the first one 3 stars and the second one 2 stars, and I want nothing to do with them. It was just no, don't. Next book I listened to was George by Gino, about a young trans girl who really wants to be Charlotte in Charlotte's Web, as her school is doing the production. But since she's not out yet, she doesn't know how to really get to that position. And it's adorable and amazing, and I now have the physical book because I loved it a lot. I gave it 4 stars. Yeah, it's just a really good middle grade story, and it's amazing. Next I listened to Challenger Deep by Neal Shusterman. So it's about this guy who he has anxiety and sort of, yeah, but he has like heavy anxiety, and he has these thoughts that like compulsory thoughts and stuff, and he's convinced that something bad is gonna happen if he doesn't do these certain things. And also parallel with this is a story about, also in first person, I think the same guy on this pirate ship, and how things he say and do affect this ship in weird ways, and the stories sort of like connect, and it's really good, and I really enjoyed it. It's apparently illustrated, but I only had the audiobook, so I really want to read the physical book as well sometime. I gave it 4 stars. I think it was very good and very different from anything else I've read from Neal Shusterman. Next, I listened to Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. This is a fantasy taking place in a world where magic has been around before, but now it's gone, and about these teenagers who try to bring magic back to society. And it was good. I gave it 4 stars. I'm not very compelled to read the rest of the series just because it's a little bit tropey, but I think the story overall was really good, and I did enjoy it very much. I think in the audiobook there was only 1 narrator, even though it's like 3 or 4 perspectives, which was confusing. Next, I listened to His Majesty's Dragon, Throne of Jade and the Black Powder War by Naomi Novik, the first 3 books in a series about dragons. It's a fantasy series, takes place in England, and it's sort of like our world but with dragons. And this ship captain who in a raid gets a dragon egg, and it hatches and bonds with him, and so he has to join the army to raise this dragon into the military. And it was good. I gave the first 2 4 stars and the third one 3 stars, because after a while it started feeling a bit repetitive. I did enjoy the world, and I think it was interesting how they had incorporated dragons into society, especially in the second book where they go to China, who treated their dragons completely different than how England did. And yeah, it was interesting, but it was not the kind of story I felt very compelled to continue, because it was also like a 9-book series, so I only listened to the first 3. Then I listened to The Dinosaur That Pooped the Past by Tom Fletcher and Dougie Poynter, and this is a children's book, and like young children. And yeah, I love McFly, and both of these guys are from there, and so I listened to it because it was interesting in what it was, and it was really silly and really stupid. And I mean, it's about a dinosaur pooping stuff. It's an entire series, but I listened to just that one, and it was really short and really cute, but also just really weird. I gave that one 3 stars. Then I listened to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them by J.K. Rowling and Newt Scamander, and I really only listened to it because it was Ed Redmayne narrating. I've read the book previously, it's not amazing. I gave it 3 stars. It's a textbook based on the Harry Potter universe about magical creatures. Next I listened to Dry by Neal and Jarrod Shusterman, and this is a story, it takes place in I think California, and there's a drought, and then one day the water just turned off completely and everyone goes crazy, and it's about these 3 teenagers a girl and her brother and then the next door neighbor trying to find water and to survive and find their parents who went missing and all of this in this chaotic situation of there is no water anywhere. And it's really interesting, really terrifying. Not the book itself, but like thinking about that might actually be our future. Yeah, it was good. It was amazing. I gave it 5 stars. Next, I listened to Assassin's Magic by Everly Frost. And this is about a girl who joins this assassin school to find out what happened to her mother, who died quite recently, or like a couple of years ago. Her mother has died, she was also an assassin, and she wants to find out what happened, why did she die, why did she leave, and all of that. And it was good. I enjoyed there was like a small romance, and I enjoyed it. It was good. And I enjoyed the overall plot. I think I didn't continue the series because I don't think the next book was an audiobook yet, or if they had like the first or the third, I don't remember. I only read the first one anyway, and I might want to continue it. It wasn't like amazing, but it was good. I enjoyed it. I give it 4 stars. Next, I listened to Timekeeper by Tara Sim, and this is about a world where time is controlled by clock towers. So if a clock tower in a region breaks, then time will stop or alter. And about this clock mechanic who he gets an assignment in a town called Enfield, and he goes there and he meets the clock spirit of Enfield, and they fall in love, and it's adorable. And it's a 3-book series. I listened to all 3 of them, and I gave them all 4 stars, I think. And it's just so the first book is like one contained story, but then the second or third it becomes like a giant conspiracy of like something is wrong, something is happening, someone is messing with the clock towers, and it's really good, and I really enjoyed it, and it's adorable. Next, I listened to Something Strange and Deadly by Susan Dennard, as well as the sequels A Stark and a Strange and Lovely and A Strange and Ever After. And this is a sort of paranormal historic fiction. It takes place in Philadelphia. It's about a girl who when she expects her brother to come home, he doesn't. Instead, she receives a message that he will be delayed, and the city is being overrun by zombies. And so she goes to the spirit hunters to get help to both find her brother and to help them figure out why and where all the zombies are coming from. And it's really good. I did enjoy the entire series a lot. I gave them all 4 stars. I think the love story was not the best. I didn't really like the love interest. He was a douchebag, but he did try to get better. He actually had like a character arc. He tried to be a better person, and I like that. The main character's an idiot. She makes so many bad choices, but I really like her anyway. She's 16. They make bad choices. But the entire series was really good. I gave it 4 stars. Next, I listened to Radio Silence, which was a reread. We had a buddy read, a couple of book friends, and it was really fun to discuss the book with other people. I still give it 5 out of 5 stars. I could not wait to listen like some parts every day, so I just plowed through it in like 2 days because I couldn't wait. It's really good. I really enjoyed it, and it just gets better. So this is a story about Frances, who is in high school, I think. She's about to go to college, and she befriends this guy who's in the class over her, I think, who's just about to go to college, but he doesn't really want to. It's like, it's a lot about like the pressures to put on students, and they also do this radio show, which is really fun, and I'm explaining this terribly, but it's really good. It's amazing. I love it. You should read it. Then I listened to The Creakers by Tom Fletcher. Same Tom Fletcher as that. And this is a middle grade book about a town where, I think it's a town, or maybe like a block, where suddenly all of the adults just disappear, and the kids have to figure out where they went and what happened, and it's really good. It's written in such a fun way where the narrator is like interacting with the characters in a weird way, and it's really fun. I liked it. I gave it 4 stars. Next, I listened to Honor Among Thieves by Rachel Kane and Anne Aguirre. And this is a book about a girl from like a rough neighborhood who gets chosen to partake in this program where they go traveling in space with these giant space creatures who are also spaceships, and it's weird. And she doesn't really know why she was chosen, because like she's a thief and stuff. But yeah, and how they yeah, and this relationships, and it's really good, and it's weird. It's hard to explain, but I did like it. I really liked this because there were two main characters. There were two characters on this ship, Leviathan creature, and the creature also had like a voice and a personality and all that. And you also got his perspective for some parts, and that was really interesting. And then there seemed to be like some bigger conspiracy of like people on Earth doesn't really know why the Leviathans wants to have this partnership with them. It's not entirely clear, and it's also a several book series, but I only read the first one now. I think there's at least one more out. Maybe the entire series is out. I don't know. I only read the first one. It was good. I gave it 4 stars. This is a rambly video. I'm sorry. I am making no sense. Next, I listened to Eragon by Christopher Paolini, and this is a book I still have read when I was like 12 or something, and I also read the second one, but I never really continued on. And then I've had it on my shelves, and my partner has them, so we have the entire series, and I want to read them. I want to like reread the first 2 and continue the series, and so finally I picked up the audiobook, and wow, that was a mistake. So the story in itself is good. It's nothing groundbreaking, it's not amazing. A lot of stuff in this book has been done since, and I've read a lot of other books like this one. And yeah, it's fine, it's good. He was like 15, it's a good book for being written by a 15-year-old. But the narrator read Saphira, the female dragon, like an 80-year-old guy who has been smoking for his entire life. It was really weird, and it just took me out of the story every single time, and I cannot stand listening to the rest of the series if there's the same narrator, and I also don't have enough interest in the series to pick up the physical book. So I read the first one, I gave it 3 stars, but now I can just leave Eragon behind me, and I'm not gonna continue the series. It was fine. Next, I listened to The Amulet of Samarkand by Jonathan Stroud, and I gave it 3 stars. This is a series about, this book is about a 12-year-old boy who is a magician's apprentice, and after being humiliated by another sorcerer, he calls upon a djinn to humiliate him back, and they get drawn into this bigger conspiracy. And it's good, it's fine. Once again, it's fine, but it's not amazing. And I did like the narrator of this one, but like the story is just meh. I'm not feeling like I want to continue the series, so I left it at the first one. Like I said, I gave it 3 stars. Next, I listened to Mot framtiden, En simpel guide till att krossa patriarkatet by Clara Henry, a feminist book about feminism and taking down the patriarchy, and it's for, I would say, younger YA, people who like want to know more about feminism, but not like a deep dive into like actual but not like a deep dive. It's pretty surface stuff. It's very interesting just reading someone else's thoughts and someone else's experiences, and she just gives some tips on like how you can break out of the patriarchal norm, both as girls and boys and everything else. And so yeah, that is really interesting, and it was good. I gave it 5 stars. I really want to pick it up and read it again. Next, I listened to Of Fire and Stars, which is also a reread, because I want to get to the sequel, which came out like 2 weeks ago, and I'm so excited. So Of Fire and Stars is about a young princess who is sent to another kingdom to marry a prince. When she gets there, she instead falls in love with his sister, and it is amazing, and I love it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I love it so much. And the sequel picks up as the first book ended, and it's so good, and it's just, oh yeah, I'm not gonna tell what it's about, but like read it. like now. So yeah, the sequel of Ice and Shadows I also gave 5 stars. It is amazing. And then after reading the sequel, which had some to do with the prequel, which I think the order was of Fire and Stars and then Ink Mistress and then of Ice and Shadows. So after reading of Ice and Shadows, I picked up Ink Mistress again because some stuff in that book relates to what happened in the prequel. And yeah, I did get a lot more out of the prequel this time than the previous time I read it. Ink Mistress I also read, like I said, and I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. And that one is, like I said, a prequel. It's about a demigod who, after accidentally causing a bloodbath in her village and her girlfriend goes out for revenge, she chases after her through the country to try and stop her from killing the king. And it's so good. It's adorable and amazing, and just, yeah, I give it 4 stars because it's not as good as the other 2 books, but it's really good. And then the last book I listened to was Freya by Johanna Hildebrand. And this is also a reread because I want to continue this series as well. Do you see a pattern? And I read this book before. I read the physical book earlier this year, or last year. I read the first book before, at least. Anyway, getting back to the point. I wanted to continue the series, so I thought I could listen to them, because all 5 books are on audiobook. It's just that, and I've had this problem with a lot of, especially Swedish narrators, that it seems that all Swedish narrators are like 40 years plus. And there's nothing wrong with that, except when they read characters who are 17. Because it's so obvious that the reader is not 17, the narrator is not 17. And it becomes a disconnect between the voice and the character, and I did not like that. So I finished at least Freya as an audiobook, and I decided to just read the rest physical books because I have them, so I could just read them. And yeah, I still give it 4 out of 5 stars because the story is amazing and I really enjoy that, but I do not like the narrator. It's sad how much the narrator can ruin an experience. So yeah, that is all the so many audiobooks that I've listened to this summer. Have you read any of them? What did you think? Did you like them? Did you not? Yeah, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to talk about it. If you like this video, please subscribe. I upload on Saturdays and sometimes on Thursdays. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!